What is going on, everybody?
Hello!
It is Pixel Partners here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2. Where we left off, Goku was found guilty, but that wasn't enough for Kazuma.
No.
Because he wants revenge. And he was still trying to push on about Van Zieks being the Reaper.
Yeah, and he's like, oh,
but
he
as everything's kind of
had
played
the
out,
autopsy flubbed up, but it's like, no.
but now we've had the purpose to implicate Stronghart himself finally.
Because Stronghart was originally the prosecution
But
for that
he's being
case.
sassy. He's a sussy baka, but he's sassy too.
Oh my god, why?
So, we need to go. We need to see if there's anyone who can testify. And there is someone. I believe. There are two names I was thinking of. There was one name I thought of and one name I thought of. Alex's name's probably better. But he's going to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks. Even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. Dr. Sif won't say anything against Stronghart. But there's still one ray of hope.
Hope.
I was hoping for a stronger objection by now, but it's fine. I'll deal with it.
It's a sound file. What do you expect?
Actually, there is one person. One person who can still testify about that autopsy. Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left. Who, Rinosuke? Who? Tell me.
He's chomping at the bit over there.
Kazuma, Please, this trial can't end. Not yet.
Damn, calm down.
Okay. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. I will murder you. The person in the defense would like to call to the stand, testify about the autopsy of Lord Van Zieks is...
Who is it that you were gonna...
Because I was going to bring in, if we have her, I was going to bring in Maria Gori.
But she wasn't even alive. Well, she was 9 years old back then.
No, but her mother told her stories about everything. I remember she wouldn't talk about that one.
Yeah,
but
stories.
Mikitoba also, yours, which is the better
Mikitoba
idea.
was my guess. Your guess was Homegirl.
Because at the time, he did work in there with Dr. Sith and all that. I don't know where he was in that time, but he could present valuable stuff.
Did you save?
I didn't say. You could be wrong. I mean, there could also be Jigoku. I don't know. Granted, he's going off to fucking...
There's also...
He's going off to the jail.
Yeah, that's
So you're going to say there's also someone else?
Caden, but like, he wasn't really involved with
No,
the
he
bodies,
wasn't. No.
per se.
But Caden did know... Caden did know a lot more than he was letting on.
Yeah.
Because he literally knew about the Asogi papers, which is something that we haven't touched on yet, but maybe that'll be later. That actually creates more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with Mikitoba. Okay.
I was right, I think.
Heaven help us. Another Japanese. An expert in forensics medicine, my lord. Professor Eugene Mikitoba. 16 years ago,
I was
he
right.
came to London with Mr. Jigoku and Genshin Asogi as a visiting
Seishiro,
student.
it's not hard.
Listen, it's hard for me. And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikitoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. Bitch. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it, ya dumb bitch.
In other words, Professor Mikitoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikitoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in that autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us.
Oh.
The defense's demand is denied. What?
Professor Mikitoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
I thought he was in the gallery. No.
He's not
Of
allowed
course
in.
he's not going to agree to it. There has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
This really is a boss battle.
Prosecutor Sogi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange. I did, yes. So present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete.
He's saying, hey, have this guy take the fall for me.
At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need witness testimony.
Oh God.
The professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father.
Ooh.
Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. Did I do it?
Yes.
Yay. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they'll be investigated in due course by the proper authorities. But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again. By which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asogi, you'll be remanded following these proceedings willingly, I trust, since you gave your word.
Does that mean fired?
This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Asogi.
Oof. Yeah, that's a
I
scream.
can't do more than that, so. That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Court is... Hold it?
Someone cut him off? Sherlock!
Hold it!
What?
The real hero of the game.
Hi!
Mr. Holmes? This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, fuck off.
May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
It's like, you can't make me.
Mr. Holmes is instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe.
Yes.
The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mayor Stronghart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage. Is it really? And why would that be? You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be. But the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
Oh.
The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered. It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows. Should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the provocations of your superiors? Oh my God, he's right. Order in court.
Roll for persuasion.
Seems to me that we stand before that door that leads to a new era of legal proceedings.
Legal practices.
Practices. A door that is ajar. No, it's a door. That was one word. That's not heard of. I will teach you proper English soon. But anyways, let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. But you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. The others in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion in court proceedings. Silence. He's right. The judge has absolute authority here.
Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end.
Well, what will that really do?
I sense dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed.
Is there a single person here, person who would honestly say he doesn't sense the same? What? The trial should go on. Summon a witness.
Exterminate.
Annihilate.
It was before something happens.
I read custody. That's all I saw.
Whoa.
He's like, what the hell? Well, you should have spent here. We don't cover the whole truth here.
Vindicate yourself in this outlandish accusation.
Vindicate. Annihilate the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help you
That's
God.
the foundation of British law. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery.
Oh, this is great.
On with the trial. On with the trial.
Testify. Testify. Testify.
Exterminate.
Listen to this. This is great.
It's great. Go off.
Oh,
Well, my lord?
Sherlock, I love you!
You hear the voice of British justice, I take it? I think you'll find that it will rather awkward to silence. The court will recess briefly.
So I can run away.
I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Well, bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives in the courthouse, we shall reconvene. A recess won't be necessary, my lord. Pardon? Ito was a close friend of mine.
Yep.
He accompanied me here today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? First Megatoba's here in this courthouse? Mr. Holmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you?
Bruh,
My
he's
dear
smart.
fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know. Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Holmes. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom
He's
at
always
once.
of use everywhere, dude.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Miss Naruto? Yes? I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you?
Ah.
Absolutely. It's still in my pocket. She sends her regards and a reminder. You find yourself at a dead end. Here's at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please. Oh, of course. In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
He's like, don't rip my ear off, please.
So it's Lord Stronghart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder?
On a wild
Just how deep am
ride.
I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom and confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under.
Hence, male Stronghart.
Yeah.
That's his pun on the name.
Yeah. To be continued. Immediately.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well. that
God,
was
Shirley,
intense.
Sherlock really came in, bursting through the doors like Gumshoe way back in the day.
Yes, I did. And don't call me Shirley. And she.
Get my
They're both here. We were both
yeah,
correct
'cause
in a way.
my brain combined Sherlock and really into Shirley.
I know it did, but that was
Yeah.
a perfect joke to put in there.
Yeah.
So I had to just go with it. So, witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Gosh, Sherlock's the real MVP here, isn't he?
Eugene Mikatoba, lecturer of forensic medicine at the Imperial Yuma University in Tokyo, Japan.
Sorry, I'm just in awe right now. She's
She's
staring.
in awe, too. She just sees a bunch of meat bags she can cut open.
Oh God.
And Professor Mikatoba, the young lady beside you is...
I gotta remember her voice.
This is Dr. Maria Gori. Scotland Yard's practicing coroner. The daughter of Dr. Sith, I understand. Yes, Dr. Sith. But I can't tell you why she's here. She just appeared. Gee.
You summoned this strange Japanese man as a witness to that autopsy.
It was something like that, I remember.
Yeah, but you don't summon Mama. That makes no sense. She was there too.
That's about the size of it. I've had her eyes boring into the side of my cheek constantly. Whilst I was at the antechamber too.
That's terrifying.
Poor man. The idea of it's making me shudder.
Can you imagine her just staring at you in silence?
Yeah. Revelations about Dr. Sith that came to light some days ago defiled the reputation of the entire judiciary. She was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. The Ministry of Justice's decision on that is final. Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we? She's like, I'm gonna chop you up, buddy. Oh.
I really like her mask. She's a steampunk plague doctor.
She's wonderful. The Ministry of Justice. Some questionable strings are being pulled, I think. I remember you, Dr. Mikatoba. but I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it's been a long while, Lord Stronghart. The prosecution stands that you were visiting student of forensic science in London until 10 years ago.
What is this music?
This is new.
Yeah.
That's right, I studied
She's
under
still
Dr. Wilson at St. Sinners.
That's even more
I
terrifying.
hate this, Stan. It's not Halloween yet, stop. So you were present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks.
He's got a Grim Reaper on one side and a fucking vampire on the other.
Yeah. I was, yes. I assisted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure.
Mama is far more skilled than any Japanese man.
Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion. And the assault report was actually penned by you, I believe. Yes, I noted all of the doctor's findings, and when we were done, he read through the document and signed it.
Poor Mama. As secondary assistant, she wouldn't have such a good view of all the innards.
Anyways, so Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Zeek's autopsy would never have happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin, you see. So Lord Strong had to entreat the nobility and allow it to take place. Do correct me if I'm wrong, my lord. It was as a result of that autopsy that a mass murder was apprehended and justice was done. But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted the result of the autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time, so you must testify. You have an obligation to tell the truth about what really went on. Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here.
And that's why I'm here too.
Very well then. You will give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh? You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise, my lord. The moment your testimony verges on supposition, I will expel you from my courtroom. Remember that.
Meaning, as soon as you start to reveal things that you know, condemn me, I will yeet you out the doors myself.
It's like, if you even say the word strong, I will yeet your ass out the front door.
You can't even talk about his heart either.
Well, that's kind of a vital organ that we kind of found a piece of evidence in. Don't complicate this for me.
It's like the game Taboo where you can't say a certain word.
Yeah. From my observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been fabricated.
That's a really old party game.
Death resulted from a wound made by Western-style sword transfixing the heart. That I found a little strange.
There were no other signs of internal injury. Nothing questionable at all. It was just that beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach.
Presumably been swallowed by the victim as a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. Ow! Ow!
What did he swallow?
So I guess they were saying that essentially, because there was no actual indications of being attacked by a sword, so they're saying that supposedly Clint Van Zeeks swallowed the piece of sword posthumously or on the verge of death to implicate the assailant.
What?
Because the sword was found.
What?
Ow. Brings a whole new. That's not the circus sword swallowing we're used to.
That's metal. Literally.
That's metal. No indication, nothing to suggest fabrication. Where's Mikitoba? Are you certain about that? Well, nothing that I could positively identify as such, much less swear to in testimony. Ah!
Oh, I hate that.
Well, that clears things up nicely.
I hate that so much.
The only fabrication here, Sogi, has come from you. What? You claim the inspector confessed just before his death, but that That is the fabrication. But he freely acknowledged it, I swear he did. Freely? With the tip of a sword in his throat? The man was clearly at his wit's end. The court will give no credence to this confession that was uttered in obvious desperation. Quite simply, there was nothing questionable about the investigation of Lord Clint Van Zeek's death. And with this testimony we have, without question, uncovered the whole truth of the matter.
God, that's annoying.
If I may, my lord. There was most certainly something questionable about it, and the whole truth does rather elude us, I feel.
She's staring at him again.
I beg your pardon. Well, you're obviously aware of the facts of the case. All 4 of the professor's previous victims died when an enormous beast was set upon them, but that ripped out their throats.
Oh, such horrifying crimes.
But curiously, the killer's last victim, Lord Clint Van Zeeks, suffered a different fate. Yes, you're right.
He was stabbed through the heart with a sword.
And you're to blame.
Oh my god.
Maybe? I don't know. That's enough. Oh. I believe I warned you about this, witness. I promised to curtail your testimony as soon as it entered the realms of supposition or speculation. Huh. Very well, my lord. In that case, the defense will pursue a conclusion of this during the cross-examination. What? I have the right to cross-examine every witness after testimony. And I fully intend to exercise that right. Ryunosuke.
So we're gonna make him talk about it more, whether you want him to or not. I'm afraid that even the presiding judge has no authority to contravene the letter of the law. As I'm sure every member of the judiciary present in the gallery would agree. She's still staring at...
Very well. You may begin, counsel. However, the moment your argument strays from the established facts, I will not hesitate to bring the cross-examination to an end. Proceed with caution. Yes, my lord.
Boy, you're really scared of losing your head, aren't you?
Oh, fucking bitch. Okay. So, my own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication the opposite results have been fabricated. You couldn't say? Not anything? No, sadly not. And you couldn't say there was any indication either, could you? No, true, I couldn't. I was at Dr. Wilson's side as he performed the procedure, recording what he did. But at times, of course, he instructed me to fetch implements and such like. Whilst I was away from the operating table, obviously I could have missed something. And at those times, what was the secondary assistant doing?
Following this Japanese man's orders to adjust the lighting or passive implements. That doesn't mean Mama wasn't a vital part of the team.
Quite, yes. So would you kind of refrain from staring at my cheek like that? Professor Mikitoba, think. Was there nothing at all that seemed out of place to you?
Jeez.
Well, yes, there was, as a matter of fact. The out of place thing. There was a different wound made by a Western-style sword translating the heart.
Hold it!
In all of the previous 4 killings that attributed to the professor, the victims were killed by an enormous dog, I believe. Their throats were, well, mauled.
Jesus.
Correct, and yet Lord Van Zeeks was stabbed. Ah, do you mean to say... You think Lord Clint Van Zeeks may have not in fact been one of the professor's victims? There was no basis on which to doubt the findings of the investigations carried out at the time.
Yeah, what? Yes, there is.
Genshin Isogi confessed all of his crimes upon his arrest. He admitted to having taken the lives of all 5 members of the aristocracy.
I was gonna say the ammo isn't consistent, but...
Yet the beast that was used to carry out the killings was never identified. No evidence was found to suggest that Genshin had ever kept a dog. A true hound of hell. No sign of injury, nothing questionable at all. Do we have anything in the autopsy report that might say otherwise? Let's see what's in there. Death from a single stab wound in the heart, other superficial external wounds indicative of a duel. Haha! A clue, Sherlock!
Why are you saying a clue, Sherlock, to yourself?
I speak in third person.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But,
I mean, he kind of does already, like the great Sherlock Holmes himself.
well, that says no other signs of internal injury. Those are external wounds.
I'm sure indicative of a duel will come up at some point.
Let me press this to
It
see
has
if
to, right?
this, that's, like I said, that might be important here. I'm gonna see, because I guess being skipped part of being internal is like, there's nothing internal, but external, there's some fishy stuff going on there. I think that's gonna be the point here. But, you weren't actually present at the autopsy yourself, were you, Dr. Gory?
Does that matter?
Well, I just wonder how useful your testimony can be in that case, really. I mean, it would be different if your mother, Dr. Sith, were in the stand, but...
I've read all the paperwork about the case, and Mama's told me this story countless times. The statement I just made is exactly what's written in the autopsy report.
I did confirm that myself at the time, it's true. Besides the stab wound, there was no other signs of internal trauma.
She's about to chop up Ryu.
I see. Internal, you say?
Mama told me all about it.
Oh.
She said there was nothing of note internally. But they did find an amazing piece of evidence. Something unbelievable.
Unbelievable? What do you mean? Come on, Dr. Gory. What was it?
Calm down.
There's the idea of a dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach.
Hold it!
Which one do I put it to? Okay. What exactly was it, though? What does beautiful but dangerous mean?
Well, it was sparkly and round with a hole as if it might slip over a finger, perhaps.
A ring? It was a ring. Belonged to Genshin Asogi. My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach?
You said he swallowed a sword.
I thought that's what they said later on, but
No.
I guess they never said part of a sword, but at the time Genshin wore a large ring in the digitus quartus of his left hand, the fourth or ring finger. I'd understood it was some sort of keepsake. When my father left Japan for London 16 years ago, I was 8 years old, but I remember that ring. You do? My father's possessions were sent to our family home in Japan after his death, but the ring wasn't among them. Obviously not, it was a key piece of evidence. It remains under lock and key in the stores at Scotland Yard to this day. After the autopsy, Genshin was summoned by the police to check for the presence of his ring. It was on his hand, of course. Moreover, there were deep abrasions on his finger where it had been pulled off. They arrested the man there and then right before my eyes. How could they?
I brought the ring along with me today.
What?
Here it is, a bit dusty from years in the stores.
That's a fucking ring.
Yeah, it is.
Good gracious, yes, that's it. I haven't seen that in 10 long years.
Can you imagine swallowing that?
And that was found inside the victim's stomach? Yes, I'm afraid so. You hesitated there, Professor Mikitoba. Should we read something into that? Well, it's just thinking back now. I didn't actually witness the moment it was extracted from the victim's body.
Oh my, really?
At that precise moment, Dr. Wilson asked me to fetch him a new scalpel, you see. Dr. Gory, removal of historic evidence from the stores requires my consent, does it not? Fuck you. It goes in the mask. However it came to be here, the court cannot deny that it's crucial evidence for today's proceedings. Very well, you may submit it. Yeah.
But
Okay.
no, they talked about the sword, meaning that he was stabbed through the heart with a sword.
Yeah, I guess I got that one wrong. It's not the sort of ring normally seen in Japan. It almost looks like claws protecting that jewel.
And since I wasn't fully paying attention, you unintentionally gaslit me into thinking he swallowed part of a sword.
I'm sorry, I thought he swallowed part of a sword, which would have been fucking metal.
It was metal, but it wasn't the right kind of metal.
Yeah.
You must examine it very carefully, Mr. Naruhodo. Very carefully indeed.
Oh, we're about to. Because I was like, oh, we're gonna fucking...
Yeah. A ring belonging... Oh, well.
Oh, well, we'll go in really quick.
Shinsugi found in his stomach during the autopsy. The claws clasping the gem look sharp enough to cause a very nasty scratch.
That they do. So let's look at this red jewel first. I'm sure we're gonna flip it over and see something written inside it, but...
Yeah.
These fat claws are doing a good job protecting the equally fat gemstone in the middle of this ring.
Yes, if you were clumsy, you could give yourself a rather nasty cut on them, I should think.
Ow! Now my fingers bleeding, claws really are sharp.
Oh my, that was very quick clumsiness, Mr. Naruhodo, even for you.
Who would make such a dangerous ring? You couldn't swallow it without doing yourself some fairly serious damage early.
Ugh. A sticky mochi bun of about that size would go down much better with some red bean paste in the middle.
Someone as clumsy as me wouldn't probably manage to choke on it somehow. Okay, anything on the top? No, I'm gonna swing it to the side first. Huh. There's actually not really anything.
No. What does it look like from the top down, though? Just in case anything like that comes up. Okay.
Is there something there? Well, no, it's just like shading there.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at like the overall design of it. If anything with that design comes up again, with
God.
the 3 things and then the diamond square,
Yeah.
whatever. Keep that in mind.
Let's go ahead and press this now.
Hold it!
And that was the decisive piece of evidence that led to Genshin Asogi's arrest? Correct. After further investigations by Scotland Yard, the man admitted to his crimes. That's a lie, my father was no killer. Beric Van Zeeks, it was you. You twisted the truth to suit your purposes.
Bro.
Your hatred of me doesn't change the facts that were established 10 years ago. My brother Clint had closed in on the professor. In the end, he exposed the man and put a stop to his lethal rampage. In the way only a man of my brother's caliber could.
Calm yourself.
That's everything, is it?
Poor father. He looks so troubled.
Perhaps because 10 years ago, something happened that's been weighing on his mind.
Oh.
Couldn't say were his words. That phrasing was very deliberate, I'm sure.
Uh-huh. I wonder if he's had his suspicions all these years.
If that's the case, we need to use this cross-examination to prove what really happened. And remove any traces of doubt.
It sucks that he can't tell us directly what his thoughts are because of frickin' Stronghart.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, couldn't say. That means something's up. If we could establish that Kazuma-sama's claim of fabricated evidence was true...
We can't shy away from this now. The info I might uncover could lead to total calamity.
Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll be right beside you, whatever may happen.
So, thought number 1. Damn it.
What?
I was hoping that maybe he looked at Clint, he would have a ring on one of his fingers like that, and we could actually identify that it wasn't Genshin Asogi's, but that does no good.
No.
God damn it. That's gonna not do anything for us. Nothing there, nothing there, da 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 da. Ha ha. No. Okay. Da 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 da. Nothing there. Da 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 da. Nope. Da 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 da. Looking at all the fingers. Nope. Got it. Da 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 da. Ha da 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 da.
What are you doing?
So, I think that's it for one last time. Yeah, that. Death from a single stab wound with a heart, other superstructural wounds indicative of a duel. Maybe that is what we do. Additional notes. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring finger of the right hand, but no document and corresponding ink was found.
Scarlet ink stains on the little and ring fingers in the right hand.
Villains recovered the victim's stomach during autopsy, according to secretary findings of that.
Huh. That's weird.
You know what? maybe this will be it. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body, and that ring should have caused massive damage being swallowed in the stomach. That's what I'm gonna go with. So, there are no other signs, nothing questionable at all. Okay, so this is gonna be the one we're gonna present the ring.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. They're like, oh, it's sharp.
If you swallowed it, that's a lot of damage.
That's what their whole bit was about. It's like, hey, if you swallow it, it would cause damage. Yep.
There we go. The court has heard that the ring was extracted from the victim's stomach, but you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Mikotoba? That's right. As I said in my testimony before, at that moment, I was fetching a replacement scalpel that Dr. Wilson had requested.
Conveniently.
In other words, you can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring, in fact, really came from the victim's stomach or not. What are you suggesting, counsel? That the ring was never in the victim's stomach to begin with. It's entirely feasible that Dr. Wilson fabricated that detail about the autopsy. What are you saying? That Dr. Wilson was in possession of the ring in advance after it was somehow stolen from Mr. Asogi. And he produced it during the procedure, pretending to have found it there and then in the victim's stomach.
Objection.
Oh, that was loud.
Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support such a rash claim?
The autopsy report.
This evidence, right here. That's the autopsy report. It's explicit in that report, counsel. Other than the ring, nothing unusual was noted internally.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how you intend to prove your point.
That's the thing, though.
You've already done it for me, my lord. The lack of internal injury says it all. What? To swallow a ring of this size would require considerable effort and determination. In addition to its size, there are the sharp claws around the gemstone to contend with. My brother was a determined man, and on the brink of death even more so, I'm sure. He would have stopped at nothing to ensure that evil kill was brought to justice. But if he really had swallowed that enormous ring, it's inconceivable that no traces of its passage down his throat would have remained as internal trauma. No.
He's probably been thinking the same thing for so long.
And there you've arrived at the sticking point. That's precisely why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago.
Yep.
Then why didn't you say something at the time? I did. I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson at the laboratory that day. Look at this! Wilson.
That's Wilson.
Look at this! I don't know. I don't know what kind of voice Wilson would have. I don't.
I could do it if you want.
Go for it. You haven't had enough voices so far, so.
Just a standard, British accent. God.
Go for it.
Now this is a very curious thing to find in a man's stomach, wouldn't you say?
But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson?
What's that now, Mikotoba?
Well, if he swallowed the ring of that size with those sharp metal claws that has, surely you'd expect to see damage in the throat and esophagus. Torn mucous membranes at the very least.
Dr. Mikotoba, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you?
I'm terribly sorry.
I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injuries would be seen. No, let's say this. The victim would appear to have ingested the item as evidence to identify his assailant. Go ahead, write it down. Wow, yeah, that's sketchy.
Saul was right. Dr. Wilson simply fabricated the results of the autopsy report to implicate my father. I'm disappointed, counsel. I remain nothing more than speculation. What? Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority on forensic science and autopsy work. There was no scientific basis on which to doubt the man's expert opinion. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified even in living subjects.
Using a device called an endoscope recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one the government can pay.
I don't think so. And Dr. Gorey, rest assured the removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished.
We open up the dead to find the truth.
Huh? I beg your pardon?
Do you want to be one of them? But Mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up, with all her secrets inside. That's wrong.
What?
You're doing the same thing.
Dr. Gory? Thing as though he's chosen to walk a different path to her mama. I was like, holy shit, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Just the whispers of the court.
She wants truth.
Yes. The ring. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. An earlier incident. What incident? And we're gonna find out about that incident next time.
Ah!
Oh boy!
It just keeps going deeper and deeper into the abyss.
Yes, it does. And it just ain't gonna stop until we get to the truth.
We're staring into the void and the void is staring back.
I jump into it! Whee!
No, you do not do that.
We've already leapt into it. We're just falling as we go.
We're just waiting for a tree branch to grab onto, I think.
Or slam into the bottom.
How about no?